Have you ever looked at your life in the mirror, 35, 45, 50, and felt this strange silence inside? You've done the things. You've survived the storms. You've checked boxes you thought mattered. And yet there's this heavy question under your ribs. Is this it? Why does everything feel so empty? If that ache has a shape, Viktor Frankl knew its outline. He called it an existential vacuum, the space that opens when the goals that once drove us stop pulling. It's not a disease. It's not weakness. It's a signpost. In Frankl's language, it's the will to meaning calling your name. Let me say it in plain words. You're not broken. You're not late. You're being asked a new question by life itself. And midlife, the place where we think we should have arrived, is often exactly where that question grows teeth. Picture this. Mornings aren't loud. They're muffled. You scroll, you sip, you move, but it's like your soul is standing a step behind you, hands in its pockets, watching the day go by. You remember being hungry, driven, even reckless for your goals. Now you feel like a reliable engine idling at a red light that never turns green. And the mind whispers the worst words. You missed your chance. There's no point. Frankl would gently turn that whisper around. He would ask, what if the point isn't to feel driven, but to be drawn? What if meaning isn't something you generate, like a mood, but something you discover, like a direction? He'd say, don't ask what you expect from life. Ask what life expects from you, here, now, with these hands and this history. That shift is everything. Because once you stop demanding a feeling and start listening for a call, your emptiness stops being a verdict and becomes a compass. So let's get practical. Frankl mapped 3 doors into meaning. Think of them as paths you can walk today, even when your heart feels numb. First, the creative path. What you give to the world, what you build, write, fix, teach, tend. Not greatness, just gift. A carpenter making a table, a coder refactoring a messy function no one else wants to touch, a parent telling a bedtime story with their full attention. Creative value is not about applause. It's about responsibility. Something needs doing, and you do it. Second, the experiential path. What you receive with reverence. The taste of soup someone cooked for you with love. The way evening light lands on your kitchen counter like it's been traveling to meet you all day. A walk with your old dog who doesn't care about your resume. When you feel empty, the temptation is to turn inward and analyze. Frankl nudges you outward. Experience something fully, not as an escape, but as a way to be with the world again. Third, the attitudinal path, the one we underestimate. It's the meaning you can choose when nothing else can be changed. The diagnosis you didn't want, the marriage that ended despite your effort, the career that shifted under your feet. Frankl saw this with devastating clarity. When everything is taken, your attitude remains a freedom that no one can steal. He wasn't being poetic. He was reporting from the edge of human endurance. We can choose the stance we take toward unavoidable suffering. You might hear that and think, that's noble. But my problem is a bored ache, not a catastrophe. True, and that's why midlife is slippery. You're not in flames, you're in fog, and fog deceives. It says, there's nothing here. Frankl says, there's something here, but you must turn toward it. Try this. Trade what do I want, for who needs me. That one pivot cuts through fog. Maybe it's your teenager, not for homework help, but for a ritual of walking together after dinner. Maybe it's your city's riverbank, where trash speaks of neglected 30 meters, and keep it clean. Maybe it's a craft you can teach a younger colleague, the lessons you had to learn the hard way. Meaning rarely arrives as fireworks. It arrives as a name, a face, a piece of ground. Let me tell you about 3 people who made that turn. A 45-year-old project manager told me he felt like a ghost in his own meetings. I used to care, he said. Instead of trying to feel passionate again, he chose a different job inside the same job. Mentor one new hire every quarter. He created a 1-page guide he wished he'd had at 25 what not to fear, what to try first. His calendar didn't change much. His sense of mattering did. A 52-year-old nurse believed her best years were behind her. She started gathering short patient stories, with permission to share with new nurses the tiny ways dignity is protected when no one's watching. She wasn't chasing a brand. She was transmitting a craft. Her meaning rose with every story she saved from disappearing. A 38-year-old father, newly divorced, felt like time had punished him. He started a weekly breakfast with his son's same booth, same pancakes, same question: who did you help this week? When life took away a dream, he answered with a standard. His son will remember those mornings long after the pain fades. You can feel the pattern, right? Responsibility before mood. Service before sparkle. This is not self-erasure. In Frankl's view, this is how the self becomes itself, by answering what life asks of you, not by endlessly interrogating your feelings. But what about the pressure of time? That drumbeat saying, you should have done this 10 years ago. Here's a counterintuitive, Frankl-inspired move. Paring down the grip loosens the fear. When anxiety spikes around time, we often try to seize it tighter, more calendars, more hacks. Sometimes that helps, often it backfires. In logotherapy, there's a tool called dereflection, shifting attention away from the problem and onto the task or the person. If you can't stop staring at the clock, stare at the craft. If you can't stop counting years, count the lives you can touch this week. Paradoxically, meaning grows when you stop hunting it and start doing the next right thing for someone else. A small warning: don't turn meaning into a new performance metric. It's not achieve 5 meaningful acts daily or fail. Meaning hates being forced. It prefers being invited. It answers to honesty. Start small and concrete. Give it a name and a time. Here's a template you can steal. 3 beats every morning. 1. Who needs me today? Name 1 person or place. 2. What can I make today? Name 1 small, useful thing. 3. How will I carry what hurts today? Name 1 attitudinal practice when the ache shows up: patience, humor, courage, gentleness. That's not a mood, that's a stance. Let's zoom in on that 3rd beat: carrying the hurt. Frankl described attitudinal value as the ability to turn a personal tragedy into a moral victory. That sounds heroic. It can also be very quiet. For someone enduring chronic pain, it might be this: I will not let bitterness define me. For someone in a job they can't leave yet, it might be, I will do 1 thing each day that expresses my standard, not my resentment. For someone grieving a dream that didn't happen, it might be, I will bear witness to others' dreams and help them forward. These are invisible triumphs, but they remake a life from the inside. Maybe you still wonder, but what if I choose wrong? What if the path I pick is small and no one notices? Frankl's reply would be kind. Notice is not the point. Answering is. A small, faithful answer given daily becomes a line, and lines become a story, and stories become a legacy. Meaning is cumulative. It builds like layers of paint on a door, thin strokes, consistent until the wood is sealed. Quick pause. Let me ask you something. What's 1 small responsibility that's calling your name this week? Put it in the comments. I read them. If this way of thinking steadies you, tap like and subscribe so we can bring more Frankl-style tools to people who need them. Back to the ache. Some mornings the emptiness will still be there. That doesn't mean the compass is broken. It means the fog is thick. Keep your ritual. Keep naming the person, the piece of work, the way you'll carry the pain. Keep showing up for your booth at breakfast, your 30 meters by the river, your one new hire. The meaning is in the showing up. There's a story about Michelangelo that people love. He said he saw the angel in the marble and carved until he set him free. Whether he said it that way or not, the point stands. The figure was always there. Midlife can feel like holding a heavy block of stone you're not sure how to shape. Frankl's guidance is simple. Your tools are sharp enough. Don't chase a feeling. Chip at what is yours to do. The figure will emerge. Here's another tool embedded in Logotherapy that helps with midlife fear. Future-directed responsibility. Imagine a future person who will benefit from your choices now. Not an abstract future you, but someone specific, your daughter at 21. Your neighbor who hasn't met you yet. A patient you will comfort. A stranger who will walk the riverbank you keep clean. Give your project a name that includes them. Pancakes Project, Rookie Rescue, River 30. Then let that name live on your calendar like a meeting you respect. This is how we bind meaning to time, by connecting days to duties and duties to faces. And when anxiety hisses, you're late. Remember one more Frankl insight. Even guilt can be repurposed as guidance. If you regret real mistakes, you don't have to drown in them. You can let them assign you to repair work. A man who lied can live truthfully and teach candor. A woman who ran can learn to stay and become a sanctuary for others. Redemption is not erasing the past. It's reassigning the energy of that pain to service. If you long for permission to start again, take it. Frankl's life says you may begin many times. He began again after losses most of us cannot imagine. He returned to the world not obsessed with his own healing, but with helping others find theirs. He didn't promise ease, he promised meaning. And meaning is enough to lift a human soul through darkness. Let's pull this together into a daily pattern you can carry. Wake up and breathe. Don't audit your feelings first. Ask the 3 questions. Who needs me? What can I make? How will I carry what hurts? Write the answers, short and specific. Keep them visible. During the day, practice dereflection. When you catch yourself spiraling on "Do I feel alive yet?" switch to what is the next task that serves. Send the email that protects someone's time. Fix the process that frustrates the team. Call the friend who always calls you first. When suffering surfaces, meet it with an attitude you chose in the morning. Patience when anger surges. Humor when perfectionism tightens. Courage when fear talks loud. These are muscles. Repetition builds them. At night, notice one experiential moment you received with gratitude. Maybe it was the sound of rain on the glass. Maybe it was the way your child laughed with their whole body. Maybe it was your own breath settling after a tough conversation. Name it, let it count. None of this is dramatic. That's the miracle. Your life can change in the most ordinary way possible, by answering what is asked of you, right where you stand. The emptiness doesn't vanish on command, but it can be outvoiced by 1,000 small yeses to what matters. And a final word for those who feel the heaviest question: what if my best days are gone? Frankl's compass answers: your best days might still be hidden inside the way you bear what you cannot fix. Your courage can become shelter. Your steadiness can become direction. Your tenderness can become memory for someone who needs it. This is not consolation prize meaning. This is the kind that endures. So tonight, choose one responsibility with a name. Give it a time. Tomorrow, answer it. The fog will not like this. It will say, "That's too small." Smile at it and proceed. Let your week form a line. Let your lines become a story. Let your story close the vacuum, one faithful act at a time. If your life feels empty at midlife, it may be because life is graduating you to a deeper assignment. Frankl would meet you at the door, put a hand on your shoulder, and ask quietly, "What does life expect from you now?" Listen, answer, walk, meaning meets you on the way.